Hello and welcome everyone to another video about the 999 challenge, where today we're going to go through and look at all of the new stackable items that came in this update. Now I've only had about 5 days myself to go through all the items, so I might miss a few, but we're going to go through everything I know so far. We're going to see all the new items, we're going to talk about strategies that we're going to use to be stacking those items, and then we're going to go back through all of our old items that we haven't finished stacking yet and talk about any new strategies that we can use now that 1.6 is out. So I have made a spreadsheet for all this new stackable items, and I think we all want to know this number at the bottom here. So let's go ahead and start out with that. 289 minus the 1 for the beginning there. So there are 288 new stackable items that I am currently aware of, and our first one all the way up here are the new aged rows. In general, roe wasn't exactly added to any new fish except for one, but because of how a new item interacts with fishing, we got access to a few more rows that we could not before. So let's go ahead and start with this chest here, which has all of the new aged rows, and it also has the new fish and the other new fish that was already a fish, and also has pain, as Mermaid has so nicely pointed out. So let's talk about the new fish first. The new fish is the goby. The goby can be found by fishing at the new waterfall area near the Hat Mouse. So between two waterfalls is a hint Willy gives you, and that is that area down there. With the new smoker, which we'll talk about a little later, you can smoke goby. It actually maintains its quality as well. With the new bait maker, we can make goby bait. Since we have a fish and it can be placed in the fish pond, we can get goby roe and goby aged roe from all of that. So that is 5 brand new stacks right there. The love doesn't stop there, as we're actually gonna jump on down to the clam, because the clam got the fish tag. So you might have remembered from 1.5, but the clam didn't used to actually count as a fish. And it always felt a little weird to me that it didn't, so I'm actually glad to see that fixed here. But we already have a stack of clams. This is just here to market, but we can make smoked clam now, which actually sounds pretty good. We can make clam bait. We can make clam roe now. They can go into a fish pond. In fact, you can't really see it, but there's a fish pond off to the side here that has clam in it, and clam aged roe as well. The fish ponds have gotten a little better. First of all, there's a chance, I don't know how big the chance is, but it seems like it's 5%. There's a 5% chance to double any product that comes from a fish pond, just overall, I think. Also, you can use something called a golden animal cracker on a fish pond to double the output of any fish pond permanently. And you can see the little golden box here when you use it. So that makes a huge difference on the fish ponds. All right, let's talk about the less good things about this update. This is probably the hardest new stack in the game. So we already did have the legendary fish. Now we need twice as many of those, and not only double, but because of how the bait maker works, we need about 100 to 200 more of each fish as well. But I can use any quality fish for that. Well, I guess I could use any quality fish for these as well. You can also buy bait from Willy. It's random what you get every day. I don't know how viable that would be if I go to Willy every day and just buy bait, but I'll probably be buying that bait just to save myself some effort here. Is the bait maker like the seed maker and how it puts out? Kind of. It's a lot quicker. Basically, you can get bait within one in-game tick. It's like every tick you get the bait. Also, it puts out a lot more bait. It's like 10 to 20. No, it's 5 to 10 bait per fish. Sorry. The other thing here is the roe. Now, you might say, wait, you can't put these into ponds. This one, all of these fish, and including the squid, which you can put into ponds, but you don't normally get roe from them. Why are these roe items here? These existed in Smappy before, but there was no way to legitimately get them before, but now there is, because there's a new book called The Jewels of the Sea. When you read this book, you have a chance of treasure chests from the fish you caught yielding roe. It looks like it's like 1 to 3, and yeah, oof is right. It's pretty bad. Basically what that means is to get this roe and aged roe, we need 2 stacks of the roe, and we only get them from catching the fish and also getting a treasure chest and hitting a chance to get the roe from that treasure chest. Basically, we have to catch a lot of miss anglers, which in some ways is very nice. It's also true for the squid and the midnight squid. The squid should be pretty easy though, especially with the new squid fest. Now midnight squid will be a little harder. I guess I'm just gonna have to go to the submarine and use the midnight squid bait. The targeted bait is actually super nice for catching fish. Using this for these legendaries is gonna make my life so much easier. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the other fishies. I've made a huge thing of all this, but basically all this is it's every fish smoked and with bait. Every fish smoked and with bait. So basically we need another stack of every single fish in the game, and we need another like 200 to 300 of every fish in the game to get all the bait. And now here is the very scary thing that I'm thinking about doing. With the new bait, catching the fish becomes a lot easier. Part of the reason why I didn't want to catch the fish before was it was annoying to just catch other fish when you're trying to catch the one fish you're working on. And considering that fish now maintain quality when they're smoked, I wonder if it might be a good idea idea to not use fish ponds to get all of these fish and instead catch them all, which would mean catching 2 stacks of every fish of iridium quality. Now, that does sound like a bad idea, but that is something we might do. And then in this chest over here, we have all of the crab pot fish, basically. Some of these you can get iridium quality for. Any of the ones you can find on the beach, you can. All the other ones cannot get iridium quality. Oh, I forgot to tell you the other thing that makes this easier. Welcome to the Advancedridium Rod, achieved with fishing mastery. You get 2 bobbers now. So getting iridium quality just means plugging a quality bobber into one of those slots. Unfortunately, unlike the other iridium rods, you can only ever get one of these. So I can't really have multiple enchantments. I'd have to change it whenever I'd want to. Let's talk about the other ocean related things here. There are 2 other baits. The first one is the deluxe bait. So the deluxe bait can come from 2 different places. Either it can come from a deluxe worm bin, which is something that got added in this update, which we'll talk about in a minute, or actually it's 3 different places. You can craft it for a moss and 5 bait, I think, or you can buy it from Willy for 100 gold each. Oh, it's 2 moss and 5 bait for the deluxe bait, and then for the challenge bait, it's 5 bone fragments and 2 moss for every 5 challenge bait. Now, the very cool thing about the challenge bait is that for a perfect catch, you get triple the fish. So for some fish, it might be worth it to use this, like the lower level fish that I can perfect catch every single time. However, you can't use the targeted bait on that. We're gonna keep talking about artisan goods a little bit here. So let's head on down to the other new artisan goods, the vegetables. We have broccoli, carrot, and summer squash, and each one of them has seeds that we need to collect. So that is some of the stacks right there. They can be put in the seed maker. So even though you have to find the seeds initially in kind of an annoying way, once you have seed makers, you can get the seeds very quickly. And then each one of them has a keg product and a jar product. So let's look at the new fruits, or the new products for fruits. New item, dehydrator. For the dehydrator, if you place 5 items in it, they can be either fruits or mushrooms. You get 1 item back. So for ancient fruit, if you take 5 ancient fruit and put them in the dehydrator, you get dried ancient fruit. Oh, and if you're wondering why I can see the money here, there's a new book that allows you to see how much everything is worth when you would sell it. Grapes turn into raisins, which is just dried grapes. Now, I'm going to go over this, and then you're going to scream when you see one of these things. Oh, look, it's that one. So dried Q fruits are also now possible, which means that essentially we can end up in a situation where we need to get 5,000 Q fruit to make 999 dried Q fruit. And then we have our new fruit in the game, which is the powder melon. And so the powder melon stacks, the powder melon seeds stack, and now we have powder melon now we have powder melon wine, powder melon jelly, which I love how that looks, by the way. It's just like white jelly, and dried powder melons. Over here is the bait maker. This is the fish smoker. You put in a fish with a piece of coal, and it doubles the sell price of that fish. This is the heavy furnace. You put in 25 ore and 3 coal, and you get back 5 to 6 bars. This is the mushroom stump. As you can see, if we scoot over here, I've got a bunch of mushroom stumps next to another new tree, and it produces mushrooms based on the tree that's nearby. This is the anvil, which lets you re-roll trinkets. This is the mini forge, which we can use to do reforging just at home. We don't have to go all the way to the volcano. And then these 2 are special statues. This first one is the statue of the Dwarf King, which gets you 2 random buffs each day you got to pick from. This one is the best. There's like no comparison. This statue of blessings gives us a random buff. So you can't see it because I've got my thing kind of cut off here. But this is the blessing of friendship. I get more friendship from speaking with people. And now let's go ahead and talk about the new forgeables. So every forgeable that isn't a mushroom can be placed in the kegs in the jars. And every mushroom can be placed in the jars and the dehydrators. The leek, for instance, which can be placed in the keg and the jars, can make leek juice and pickled leek, and that's true for a large number of these forges. The spring onion, notice the sell price. It sells for 40. Spring onion juice sells for 25. Because we have a certain power, spring onions are worth 5 times as much, but this doesn't apply to the artisan goods made from spring onions. And cave carrots, ginger, unfortunately. Ginger is actually a bit of a tough one to get a lot of. I think I have enough, but maybe not, because we do need 2 extra stacks of it. 1 mushroom gets placed in a jar to become a pickled mushroom, or it can be placed in the dehydrator, 5 of them can be, to make the dried mushrooms. And most of these aren't too bad because you can now farm them with the mushroom stumps. And that's true for all of these mushrooms except for magma caps. As far as I can tell, and please someone correct me if I'm wrong, there is no way to farm magma caps in the game. You have to get them from the volcano still. We're probably going to be using stingray fish ponds. And now down here, this is just to show off all of the new items. So these are the new large chests. Also, new cool thing that you can do. If there's a chest on the ground here that has items in it, you can take a previous chest in your inventory and replace that chest. So here are the new geodes, the mystery boxes and the golden mystery boxes. So the mystery boxes drop at random from a bunch of places. There's a lot of places where you can get these mystery boxes, so I'm not too worried about it. And golden mystery boxes you start getting after you unlock Forging Mastery, I believe. And both of these aren't too bad to get a stack of, I don't think. From what I've seen so far, they drop from so many places. I'll just get it over time. Unfortunately, their drop tables aren't super good for the challenge. They're really nice early on, so if you get mystery boxes early on, they're definitely worth opening. But for the things I need for the challenge, they don't really help all that much. I might be missing some things in the drop table. I might still be opening them occasionally for things, but I don't think there's that much outside of one thing. Unfortunately, that one thing is going to make it so we have to open a lot of mystery boxes. And then we have the new fish items. You can get these randomly from fishing, but luckily there's a lot easier way to get them. They drop from fish ponds, certain fish. I believe the flounder gives the sea jelly. I know that the lava eel gives the cave jelly. I do not remember what gives the river jelly. They're also used in a crafting recipe, all three of them in the same crafting recipe for the fish smoker. So we would need 2 stacks of them, but I'm not too worried about them overall. Moss soup and moss in general. So moss is a crafting thing. And according to my calculations, which I think are a little bit off for the moment, we need 374 stacks of moss, which is about 373,000 stacks of moss. 373,000 moss for all the crafting recipes. This was not a good update for resources. Yes, 333 of those stacks are for a single item, which we'll talk about later. But moss is luckily very easy to farm. You can just set up a bunch of trees, sleep a few days, and then just harvest it all. It's not too bad. And I think the amount of moss you get scales with your forging level. It's possible we could eat forging food and go from 2 to 3 moss. I'd have to look into that. But I was getting 1 moss, and then I hit forging 5, and then I was getting 2. So it's possible if we can hit forging like 15, you can get 4. I'm not sure exactly how that works. I'll have to look into that. We have Mystic Syrup. Mystic Syrup is a new syrup item that sells for quite a lot. So it sells for 1,000 base price. It also gives you a lot of energy and health from eating it. This might be the only reason you would ever take that profession that increases the sell price of tapped goods. And it's also used in 2 recipes, which we'll talk about when we get to, but it's pretty straightforward because you just have to tap these mystic trees. So we've got them here. They're blue trees. They're really pretty looking. These do not drop their seeds though, so we'll have to craft those seeds, and we'll talk about that actually right now. The mystic tree seeds are crafted by forging mastery, and then these become unlocked, and you need 5 of every other seed besides mossy to craft them. So they are going to be very annoying. I just have to make my farm into a giant tree farm and basically go through and harvest seeds every single day. And then the mossy seeds, I think the first time the mossy seeds drop is the first green rain, but then you can grow them on your farm just like these other trees drop seeds. Wild trees will drop mossy seeds, and we can use that to get more mossy seeds pretty quickly. Oh, wood skip fish ponds. I didn't even think of that, mermaid. That might be a really good thing. I'll look into the difference there. I need a huge tree farm anyways for the moss. Mixed flower seeds. You cannot craft these. You can only find them, just like mixed seeds. But they drop often enough that I will get a stack of these eventually. They just drop from just random weeds. Let's open the second worst chest in the game. You might immediately see some pretty terrible things here. But let's go in the order that the alphabet has decided, which is not actually how the alphabet works, but it's the order that CA has decided that we're going to talk about these. Let's start with the golden animal crackers. So these are amazing. I really like these as a feature. They double the output of farm animals and fish ponds, and we're going to use a lot of these as well as stacking them, because it's going to make my golden chickens twice as effective at making me money for free. Additionally, my fish ponds, which is probably even more important, they're going to double the output of my fish ponds. They drop from monsters in the harder mines and the harder skull caverns, so I'm gonna get a lot just from doing that, I think. They also drop from golden fishing chests, which is another fishing mastery upgrade. But basically, I think we're gonna get most of them from monster kills, kind of like how we got most of our galaxy souls from monster kills as well. Butterfly power. You can buy this from Krobus, and basically what it does is it allows you to get rid of a pet. So you sprinkle it on your pet and the pet goes bye-bye. So this is just kind of an answer. If you get too many pets, you can get rid of them. It turns them into a butterfly and you can't undo it. That's a nice item. You can buy it from Krobus. I think it's like 20,000 per, which will definitely add up very quickly, but I can just buy it. This item is a massive spoiler. So if you would like not to be spoiled, please scroll forward in the video a little bit here. So there is a Easter egg in the game that allows you to get a sword from Terraria named Meowmere, which is a really cute sword and a very cool reference. But the basic idea on how it works is you have to take an ancient doll and drop it into the lava floors on the mines. So we need 999 ancient dolls to drop in there to get 999 faraway stones. And each one you use can get you another Meowmere as well, but the Meowmere is a weapon, so it does not stack. So then you take this item and you go to the wizard's basement and you can get Meowmere. Now we're gonna go in a row with some of the worst things in the world. Golden tags drop from a very specific festival called the Trout Derby that takes place toward the end of summer. Basically, you can turn these in for prizes. The prizes for me aren't very much worth it, but I do need to stack the golden tags. Every rainbow trout you catch has like I think it's like a 25 to 33% chance of dropping a golden tag. And basically you can stack those golden tags and turn them in for prizes, or you can stack them to stack them. Moving on from the golden tags, basically I'm just going to be catching a billion rainbow trout. With the bait, it'll be a lot easier. We'll probably have to do it over several years to get 999 though. I tried it over 2 days and I got like 50 tags. So yeah, we'll probably have to do it a lot, unfortunately. So the prize ticket is going to be very fun. But I've noticed something, or I found out something. You can buy these from the festival. So technically speaking, I can just sleep for them. The Stardew Valley Fair, you can trade in points for prize tickets. I don't know how many you can get though, but also the way you get them is from doing tasks. The thing is, I also want to use these prize tickets though, because it's one of the best ways to get Stardrop Tea, so we might be using a lot more than just 999 prize tickets. Now the Stardrop Tea is one of the items you can get from the prize machine. You can also get it from a few other places as well, but it's usually a very rare drop. And Stardrop Tea is a gifting item. It's always a love gift for any villager in the game, but also there's no limit on how many you can give to a villager in a single day. It stacks with other items that you give them in that day too. So it ignores the gifting limit completely. So on someone's birthday, you can give them a love gift, that's iridium quality, and a Stardrop Tea, or another Stardrop Tea. So in a single day, you can get someone on their birthday with a love gift that's iridium, and I think 2 Stardrop Teas from 0 to 10 hearts. I'm mostly probably gonna get them from the prize machine and from golden fishing chests. Hopefully we get a bunch from golden fishing chests. I haven't done the odds on that yet at all. So treasure totems, I'm gonna wanna use them because I'm gonna need them for an item that already exists, I think. But basically, here's how treasure totems work. You use your treasure totem in an area, like this one very much here, and it produces a bunch of these lovely worm spots all the way around you. Unfortunately, they are not cheap. So let's go to the crafting recipe for them. Treasure totem crafting recipe is 5 hardwood, which I can do that, 10 moss, which I can do that, and then the mystic syrup. So we really want to set up a mystic syrup farm soon. But once we have that all set up, it shouldn't be too hard to get a stack of them going. Oh, for ancient dolls. Oh, I didn't even consider that, mermaid. Let's talk about the mannequins first, because the cursed ones are, well, frankly, they're cursed in more ways than one. But the regular mannequins you can just buy from Sandy. They're 12,000 each. Unfortunately, annoying, but certainly doable. The cursed mannequins are really cool. I love them. I love them so much. Basically, they have a chance of doing some cursed thing every night that you have them in your house. To get them though, they only drop from haunted skulls. For those of you who do not know, the haunted skulls are the item in the enemy in the quarry mines, or in those random quarry floors in the mines that are just like floating skulls. And they don't have that high of a drop rate from them. Luckily, they drop from the blue and red ones, unlike Magic Rock Candy, I think, which only drops from the red ones. Golden Bobber. I'm not sure on this one. I was informed by someone that this stacks. This seems like an item you can get from Willy at the Desert Festival. I have to do some more testing. I didn't have time to get to it yet, but this is an item that you can find for Willy by fishing. All right, we're gonna talk about these last. I want other people to discover this secret on their own, but Concerned Ape was smart, and he knew that people would be upset if the shorts thing was removed. So he added a new way to get the lucky purple shorts. I'm gonna wait on explaining how to do it, but basically there's no limit to how many you can get. Even though we have these trim shorts from before by using the staircase glitch, this is an entirely new stack. And also, for those of you who are stacking for the first time, you can turn these into the gold trimmed lucky purple shorts, and they still stack, so you need 2 of these stacks. So these fireworks can be purchased from 2 different places, either the casino or the nut room at the Q shop. I'm probably gonna get them from the casino. They're limited, so the casino has been nerfed, probably because of Blade. And basically you can only buy a limited stock from the casino each day, but if I build up enough Q coins, I can just go each day and purchase them. They're very pretty. I love them so much. This one makes like, I think it's a butterfly shape. This one makes a star drop shape. And then this one makes a heart shape, a horse shape. So that was a huge list of hard items. So let's go ahead, head on down to our next set of items, which are the books. There are a lot of new books in the game, and all of them stack, except for maybe a few. I think all of them stack though. Not all of them are on my stackable list yet, because I thought that Friendship 101, Mapping Cave Systems, Alleyway Buffet, I thought these 3 did not stack, but it looks like they can appear in the shop after year 3. I'm not sure on that, but I think I've seen them there. But we're gonna go ahead and talk through each one of these, starting with the animal catalog. You can buy the animal catalog from Marnie at some unspecified point. I'm not sure when. It becomes available in Marnie's shop at some point for 5,000 gold, and it allows you to shop there even when Marnie's not there, which is incredible. We get to the next one, which is much more of a problem, the Book of Mysteries. So the Book of Mysteries drops from mystery boxes, and it's not very common in mystery boxes. I'm not sure of the exact numbers, but it took me quite a few mystery boxes to get it. As far as I know, this book does not show up at all in the bookseller shop under any circumstances, so you have to get it from most opening mystery boxes. Treasure Appraisal Guide. So this increases the amount artifacts sell for, which would be kind of nice for me, I guess. Unfortunately, it comes from Artifact Troves. You can also buy it from the bookseller though after year 3, so hopefully that will save us instead. Old Slither Legs lets you walk through crops much more quickly. You can just straight up buy this from the bookseller. I think it's always available, so every time I go to the bookseller I can get one. So you can walk through crops and grass without slowing down, basically. You can buy this one from the Dwarf in infinite amounts. So the Dwarf is Safety Manual. I can just buy 999 of those. Friendship 101. The first one comes from the prize tickets, but then I believe you can buy it. I'm not 100% on this one, but I believe you can buy it from the bookseller after year 3. Jack Be Nimble, Jack Be Thick comes from Dig Spots, but I believe you can buy it from the bookseller occasionally as well. It also gives you +1 defense. Jewels of the Sea allows you to find roe in fishing chests. You get it from fishing chests as well, so that's kind of a nice thing about it. You can also buy it from the bookseller occasionally. Mapping Cave Systems, after you finish, I think it's after you kill 1,000 enemies. I'm not sure on that though. After you kill 1,000 enemies, you find this in Marlin's shop in his back room, which you can access. This allows you to pay less when recovering items from the mines. You can also, you get the first one there, but you can also buy it from the bookseller after year 3. The Monster Compendium drops randomly from monsters, and it gives you a chance to double the loot from monsters, and it stacks with the Burglar Ring, so it's really good for that. The price catalog, you can just straight up buy this from the bookseller. I think the bookseller is always selling one of them. The Queen of Sauce cookbook, after you get 100 golden walnuts, I believe, this appears in the bookseller shop. It costs a lot of money. It's 50,000 per book, but after, you know, I buy all of them, we have them all, so it doesn't matter. Kind of useless to me at this point in my stacking thing for reading it, but very good to have it all. The Alleyway Buffet can be found in a secret area near Clint's shop off to the side, and it gives you better drops from trash cans. You can get them from the bookseller in year 3+ as well. The Art of Crabbing has a 1 in 4 chance of doubling a crab pot's output, and then you can get them first. The first one you get is from Squidfest. It's the reward for the first day in Squidfest, I'm pretty sure, the max reward. And then ones after that you can buy from the bookseller after year 3. The Diamond Hunter gives every rock in the game that you break a chance to drop a diamond, and it costs 10 diamonds, and you buy it from the Dwarf in the volcano. Luckily, I have a lot of diamonds saved up, so it's going to cost me 10 stacks of diamonds to buy 999 of these, but it's not too bad, actually. All right, Way of the Wind 1 and 2. Way of the Wind 1 is initially in the bookseller shop, and once you buy and read that, Way of the Wind 2 can also show up. They're both very expensive, but you can just buy as many as you want of those. The Raccoon Journal is first gotten from the Raccoon quest line, and once you get it, you can buy it from the Raccoon's wife for 999 fiber. So every single one of these is going to cost me 999 fiber. Yay! Fiber will be easier overall to get. I'm probably still just going to use the deconstructor method. Woody's Secret is a book that you can get from chopping wood randomly. You can also buy it from the bookseller occasionally as well, I believe. If not, just chopping enough trees will eventually get me 999 of those. All of the remaining ones are all skill books. So Bait and Bobber, Book of Stars, Combat Quarterly, Mining Monthly, Stardew Valley Almanac, and Woodcutter's Weekly all give you a small amount of experience in its relevant skill. And Book of Stars gives you the same amount of experience in all skills. So Book of Stars is much rarer, but all of them can be purchased from the bookseller. One of the other nice things is once I have extras, I can start trading them in for things. There's certain things that can be traded at the bookseller. You can trade in books for things, and some of those things are actually kind of useful for us. I'll have to look into it more to figure that out later on. Welcome to the last chest. These are the craftable items, and these are the worst items. Text sign is an item that can simply be crafted from the beginning of the game and costs 25 wood. I'm not too worried about it. I just need a bit of wood to stack it. The bluegrass starter is a recipe that is found behind the nut door, but once you have that, you can craft bluegrass starter. And if we look at the recipe, which we might not have actually, well, I know it requires mystic syrup, and I think it's grass starter or fiber and mixed mystic syrup and something else. So that's just some more of these lovely trees here. 25 fiber and 10 moss and all mystic syrup. It's annoying, but it's not unachievable. The tent kit is unlocked at 8 forging, I believe, and it lets you sleep anywhere on the map. Well, not anywhere. Anywhere outside on the map, as long as there's not a festival the next day. It costs 10 hardwood, 25 fiber, and 1 cloth per tent kit. And it's very achievable to get those things, so I'm not too worried about it. I don't know if I'm going to utilize them in the challenge ever. Being able to start right next to Skull Caverns in the morning seems pretty useful. Being able to go to sleep without losing money seems pretty useful. So an anvil is an item that lets you reroll trinkets. For 3 iridium bars, you can reroll a trinket into a better, hopefully a better quality one. I'm probably not going to have to use this much. I also think it's very expensive to reroll trinkets for 3 iridium bars. But basically, it is a way, if you want to get some of the rarer trinkets, it's a way to do that. The anvil costs 50 iron bars. So 999 anvils costs me 50 stacks of iron bars. It's very doable. I might have to buy it, but I can if I need to. The bait maker basically allows you to put a fish in it and make bait. It gives you 5 to 10 bait per fish. The bait maker is at 6 fishing, and it costs 3 iron bars, 3 coral, and 1 sea urchin. The coral might be an issue, but I think I have an extra stack of sea urchins, and I definitely have the 3 iron bars. The big chest and the big stone chest, which are right here, they have 70 item slots in them, which you can fill up, which is very useful. It's almost twice as many as the regular chest. I believe it is 100 wood and 3 copper bars. And for the big stone chest, 250 stone, I believe. It's 2 copper bars. Okay, 120 wood. Thank you, Frazzle. The dehydrator. The dehydrator is a recipe you can buy from Pierre, which costs 10,000 gold, I believe. And it costs 30 wood, 2 clay, and 1 fire quartz. For me, that's no issue, but getting that much fire quartz early if you're going to use them is kind of annoying sometimes. That fire quartz can be kind of tough. The deluxe worm bin is a recipe you get from upgrading fishing. I think it's fishing 8, and it costs 1 worm bin, which actually got cheapened, by the way. 15 hardwood, 1 gold bar, 1 iron bar, and 50 fiber. Yay. And 30 moss. So basically, it's just a worm bin upgrade, and it gives deluxe bait every day. Next up, we have the fish smoker. The fish smoker is a recipe that can be purchased from Willy for 10,000 gold. It costs 10 hardwood. It costs 1 sea jelly, 1 river jelly, and 1 cave jelly. So each of the jellies we can get from fish ponds, and the hardwood we can get from suffering. Not really suffering. We can get it from farming hardwood trees on Ginger Island, like we've been doing. The heavy furnace is received as a recipe for mining mastery. It requires 2 furnaces to make, as well as 3 iron bars and 50 stone. But once you have it, it costs 2 less coal for every bar you make, and it has a chance of making an extra bar. I think it's like a 25% chance of making an extra bar. So the heavy furnace shouldn't be too bad to make a bunch of, and it'll also be super useful for the challenge. It'll get us a lot more iridium and stuff, which will be very useful for the statue of the Dwarf King. So every statue of the Dwarf King, which you get from mining mastery, costs 20 iridium bars. So we need 20 stacks of iridium bars, which is a lot, but I can definitely do that. I'm not super worried about getting all that. The mushroom stumps, mushroom logs, which I'll probably be utilizing a lot to get a lot of extra mushrooms, cost 10 hardwood and 10 moss, but that's very achievable. And then that just leaves 1 item in this lovely box that we have looked through, and that is the Statue of Blessings. And I'm gonna give you guys a minute to look at that. I'm drinking water so I can refill my tears. For every single statue costs 999 stone, 999 fiber, 999 sap, and which I can only assume here was mercy on the part of CA, 333 mosses. So, since this item stacks, we need to get basically 1 million stone, 1 million fiber, 1 million sap, and 333,000 moss. So let's go ahead and talk through this. The stone we can deconstruct staircases for. We can also just buy the stone, which isn't the worst thing to do either. The fiber, we're probably going to be deconstructing grass starter for. We're talking on the order of like millions, if not hundreds of millions of purchased grass starter to deconstruct. but it's definitely doable to do that. And 999 sap. Luckily, our good friend Eric was very merciful and has improved the rate of sap from hardwood trees that are tapped. Basically, instead of getting 1, you now get like 5, and it comes each day. So basically, I think I'm just gonna make a giant field of hardwood trees and tap every single one of them and collect them every day. So that is the last new stackable item, and it is certainly a doozy. So this is our list of new stackable items. I'm missing a few on here, I realized as I was going through, but basically we've got somewhere around 290 new stackable items in the game, which is awesome. Yay! There's one more thing for us to talk about today, and that is old items that used to stack, or still stack rather, that we haven't finished, and new strategies that we can use for them. So here's our fruits category. For the new dehydrator things, every single thing in this category requires 5 more stacks. So this is no longer done. Not only is this not done, it's only 1/5 of the way done. Veggies. Actually, most of these are fine. We're adding some new veggies. There's 3 new veggies in the game. Other than that, I don't think any of these changed much, if at all. So the new forges, a good number of these forge items now can be turned into juice and pickles. And the mushrooms, at the very least, can be turned into dehydrated mushrooms. So 5 times as many of all of these mushrooms, and then for a good number of these forges up here, basically 3 times as many. Flowers. I actually don't think this changes at all. For fish, every single fish on here is going to double. In addition to that, we also need to consider the fish we need to make the bait. So then that's also going to increase it by like 0.25, I think. So 2.25 times the amount of stuff in this category. Row is done and will basically remain done. Unfortunately, row is a lot easier to get now, but since row is done, the only things we need in this category now are clam row and goby row, and the legendary fish row. I almost forgot. All right, for artisan goods, we'll have a few more aged rows. We're gonna add the smoker fish, are also artisan goods. We're gonna add all the dehydrator stuff. Also down here, we're gonna be adding the new tree tapper product. Cooking, there's only 1 new cookable thing, and it's the moss soup. So this will be pretty straightforward, luckily. How did we forget to talk about the... Oh, it's literally not in here. Hi everyone, welcome to the mini forge. The mini forge is an item that you get from combat mastery. The mini forge recipe is 5 dragon's teeth, 10 iron bars, 10 gold bars, and 5 iridium bars. Every single one is going to cost me 5 dragon's teeth. So we're probably going to have to get those just by putting the stingrays back in the fish ponds. Luckily, with the golden animal crackers, we can double the amount we get from the fish ponds. It'll still take quite a while to get that. We can talk about dragon's teeth here now. This is going to multiply by, well, not multiply by 5, but it's going to increase by 5 stacks. I don't think there's any new animal products to get, so that's unchanged. Slime is also basically unchanged. I don't think any new recipes have it in there, so we're basically going to get it the same way. One of the nice things, though, is that you can now make the hard mode Skull Caverns permanent. Basically, we can never stop calling Kevin now, and that's going to make getting slime a ton easier. All right, for seeds, we were done with seeds, but the mossy seed and the lovely, absolutely incredible mystic tree seed, I couldn't think of the name for a second, both got added. So those are new tree seeds that we're gonna need. Oh, and the mixed flower seeds. Yep. Yeah, those will be pretty easy though. For the metals, materials, and gems, which was finished. You see, this was our biggest category before, and this category is going to increase by about 3.5 million. So this category is basically going to double in size. Minerals will be completely unchanged. And now the other category. The auto petter got harder. So there are new items you can get in Skull Cavern chests now. I think trinkets and Stardrop tea and golden animal crackers. I'll have to double check exactly what you can get. So we're gonna have to get more ladders, or we might be able to use a method that was pointed out to me by killing special slimes on specific places. We can get auto petters that way. I'm gonna look into both and see how we can manage that. Deconstructor, we still just need Q gems for that. That hasn't changed. There's really no new items you can buy with Q gems either. So we're actually about where we left off with Q gems. Magic rock candy. It's easier to get now, but that doesn't end up mattering because we don't need it anymore. We're basically already done with it. The rare crows are pretty much exactly the same. There's no special way to buy them or anything. You just have to get them the same way. The void ghost pendant, again, is pretty much exactly the same. Artifacts. Some of these artifacts are going to be easier to get now using like the treasure totem or things like that, but I don't think we're going to do that. I think the method we've been using for most of these has been fine so far, and we're just going to continue doing that. The only exception I can think of is the snake items. So the snake vertebrae and the snake skull. So with these snake vertebrae, first of all, it became easier to get. Used to only drop, and still does drop, from artifact spots on the Ginger Island farm area, but it used to be super rare because getting those artifact spots was first of all kind of rare, and second of all, getting that to drop from it was even rarer. But now you can make artifact spots wherever you want using the treasure totem, so we can use that to get a whole bunch of snake vertebra. Also, it was kind of buffed, so now you can get snake vertebra from the muscle nodes on Ginger Island as well. These strange dolls, we can also use treasure totems to get as well. It might just be as easy to keep bombing the mines though. I'm not sure. I'll have to do some math on that. And that just leaves decor. The plush bunny is about the same as before. The stone Junimo is the same as before. The stone owl is the same as before. The tea set has changed. There's a new way to get the tea set. So this is our hidden price column. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add something in here. The traveling cart has a 5% chance to have a tea set in it for 1 million gold after year 25. So after year 25, there's a 1% chance, a 5% chance of the tea set appearing in the traveling cart. So that alone is going to cost me 1 billion more gold. I think that is some amount of confirmation that CA knows something about this challenge, because I don't know why else it would be there for year 25 plus. And with that, I believe that is essentially all of the new things in this update that we are going to need to stack. It's quite a lot, but at the same time, I'm very excited because there's lots of new strategies, lots of new really cool things we get to do here. I'm about to fall asleep here. Perfect. It was a full day of time that it took us to go through all the new items. So thank you all so much for joining me in our little adventure here into 1.6. We learned about all of our new items that we're going to be stacking and how I'm so far planning on getting them. There's a lot of new things we still have to learn to figure it all out. And we also looked at the old things that we still need to get and some of the new ways we might be able to get them. Oh, calico eggs. Calico eggs disappear after the festival, so they are not technically considered stackable for this challenge. Thank you all for joining me, and good night. Bye.